Hi, welcome to another episode of the A to Z podcast, you guys. That's right, it's me, Zero Rimson, and Aaron Chase talking about stuff again. For those of you who are new here, essentially the podcast is about the idea that me and Aaron are very similar with very differing mindsets from two sides of the spectrum. He is the yin, which is like the realist, the darkness, the reality, where I am more fantasy, rose-colored glasses, the yang, as it were. And together we come and we try to talk about things, and there's some entertainment in there somewhere between our thoughts. Today, Aaron and I are talking about something. As always, there's very little like pre-planned structure, but that's what the looseness. We like it that way. So Aaron said he had some reason. Apparently, his thing of street stand-up has been affected recently, and he's about to tell us why that is. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
go ahead, do your thing.
the first thing was that I reached my goal of 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
And yeah,
positive news first.
positivity first. I reached my well. This is gonna go negative then because it felt super hollow.
Oh,
It was like I'm proud of myself for achieving the goal, and it's good. It's like ultimately a good thing. But I think the reason it felt hollow was because the night that it happened was also a night where I felt kind of off as a comic,
hmm.
and that matters to me far less than being good
Yeah,
at comedy. So
right.
like it's good. I'm proud of getting 1,000. I'm proud that I've been keeping that ratio of how many people I'm following versus the amount of followers I have low or balanced. And there's something about that 4 digits that looks better.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a transit, especially when you're not like A, an attractive girl, or B, like already semi-famous. When you're at the level, because everybody understands in terminology of the internet, 1,000 isn't a lot because comparatively to what internet numbers usually are, it's not. But in general, the like getting from like people who are actively working at this and starting from the bottom, Drake, those people who are working their way up like recognize how hard it is to get from your circle of friends and family to like 1,000, which like you don't really like have 1,000 friends like in
Yeah.
your life outside of comedy. So when you hit 1,000, it's like there's a bunch of randoms in there who I don't know who like me or at least what I do or something about what I'm posting. So it is a good landmarker. It does look more legit because anybody could have like 100, especially when you do the comparison to how many you're following versus like are following you. Because follow for follow back is a thing, and you could just go through everybody, follow everybody, and then have your numbers go up that way. There's a
Yeah.
lot of really tricky stuff, so it's good to do it from a genuine, honest place. And so there's a reason that does it's supposed to feel, but like you said, it's like kind of hollow
Yeah.
because of the timing, and also again, it's like there's something to the kind of like what you were experiencing with your special where it's like, yeah, you could have that number on your screen, but then when you ask people to come out, how many really show up for you? Like, I
Yeah.
think I've heard it a lot when like YouTubers do decide to make the transition into doing some live shows or like meetups, and then they see like, because a 1,000 is just like, oh, it's 1,000, whatever. Like when you think about it as a concept number, it's like whatever. But if you saw 1,000 people in a room, you'd
Yeah.
be like really humbled and you'd be like, this does mean something. But because the internet's the internet, 1,000 doesn't seem like a lot. And especially when that turnover isn't 100%. But like, it is an accomplishment. Again, I know
Yeah.
I'm still at 400 and I'm making my slow but steady climb, but like, it's something. I think it's something to be proud of. You worked at. It's a goal you met. So that's all good. And again, like in the same vein that you would say, like I was looking at it and it didn't feel. It felt like I was sucking as an artist in the
Yeah.
comedy kind of thing. It's like I also go through this. I go through phases of like this circle where I'm like, I I'm doing great. I'm amazing.
Hmm.
And but then it's like I lost it. Like it's like I peaked. That was
Yeah.
my peak. I've been as funny as I can be, and now I'm going downhill from there. And I will never be as funny as when I first was loose and like just doing stuff. and then there's like the other side, which is also a negative, where it's like I was never that funny. I still got a lot of work to do to even my bar of high is really low, like that whole thing. And so I like to go through a loop of like I'm doing great versus I'm doing not so well. But you were saying. So
I have I'm proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself for getting to 1,000. I'm not going to stop. My next goal is 1,500. So I'm doing it in 500 increments so it doesn't feel insurmountable. So that's my goal. I'm at 1,006 right now, so I'm gonna just keep climbing there. Then I have two other things. So first last thing is
just to in that last thought. What made you feel sucky the day that like why did you feel like not a good comic?
I've come to I've been hyper focused on working out this skill of being interesting and having the audience emotionally connect to me, to where I've gotten really good at that. Like I know how to if you were to see me out on the street, I know how to be like, all right guys, I know this sign says stand-up comedy, but just stay calm and listen to what I have to say. And there will be no laughs for a long time, but people are like glued to what I'm saying. So I think I've developed this skill enough to where I'm like not a master at it, but like I think I do that better than most comics in our level of skill, like in our year or what are we, freshmen?
I would say
class. Yeah. So I think that I have an ability to keep the audience's attention without laughter far better than most of my peers. 1,000 followers, damn son, says Carlos Patino. Thank you, Carlos Patino.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna call this episode 1,000 followers.
Okay. So I like knowing I have that skill. I've made this groove, and now it's like I need to be able to be fucking funny. Like,
gotta work the comedy back in.
I know I gotta work the comedy in, and I've also gotten good at writing. Like I understand structure very well. I understand theory pretty well, and now it's like I just need to be able to be funny. So I've gotten rid of not writing material, not performing my material unless it comes in my head and it kind of goes in well. No material, just talking and learning how to be fucking funny. That's what
so you're trying to like the quote unquote like the trying to find the natural improv-y funny, so you're just naturally always in that place. So
yeah, if I need to be. What?
I thought you said something.
Oh, I said that like so that right now I can turn off and on the deep woke bullshit that I do.
Right.
Now, if I can turn off and on just being funny, and I can go back and forth, like I'm gonna be real solid there.
Right. And here's my thing. So what made the decision of like I'm going to turn off I'm not going to use material. Sorry, excuse me. Like why? Okay. What did he say? Something? Do something?
No, we've been performing together every now and again out in the street. I was hesitant about, I think I told you about that. I was hesitant about bringing anybody out there because this is my thing. Mm-hmm. But going out there and doing it with him, he exposed a lot of my weaker elements in my game. And so he is good. Like we are very, very, we're polar opposites, but a yin and yang. We are just very different people. Like when he's out there, he's like, notices little things, and he's like Seinfeld but black, and like so he's picking up on little things that are funny. He's really punchy and snappy, whereas I have this slow draw, and I have this emotional thing. The things I'm talking about are not at all surface. Yeah. And so I was watching him, and I was like, I need to be able to do what he's doing as well. As much as I have my voice, as much as I know kind of what my goals are as a comic, I need to be able to do every single form of comedy so that I'm unstoppable, essentially.
Okay, got it. So what was the next thing you were gonna say?
So why I had to, I'm trying to find other spots to perform, partly because it's starting to get real weird out there.
Okay.
Like as much as people are noticing me and they're like, hey, it's Aaron Chase. Oh, good to see you, man. Like they all know who I am now,
Mm.
but I'm not crazy, and I know that if these people that like me know who I am, there's people who don't like me that know who I am. And
Right.
I was out there with KJ, and the equipment was gone. We were just standing there. We were working out notes and figuring shit out. And this big white truck, because of course it was, pulls up, and they start flipping me off, and they look furious. And I wasn't performing. I was just standing there. So it was like, "Ugh, that's not good." So that happened, and then crazy people have gotten really comfortable with me out there. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah,
In what way? Example. Story time.
So KJ and I are doing our thing, and we had a guy. I've seen him from day one. Like I've seen him all the time. And he's a nice guy. Like I really want to preface, he's a nice person,
Okay.
but way too comfortable. He comes up and he's like, "I want to tell a joke. Let me tell a joke." And I'm like, "All
Uh,
right."
oh
So
no.
so I hold the mic. I do not give him the microphone, and I let him tell a joke. It was like a
What was his joke?
It was like skeleton walks into a bar.
Oh no, it's one of those jokes.
Oh, it
Okay.
gets worse. It
It's
gets
not a
worse.
stand-up joke. It's like a dad joke.
Yeah, yeah. He's like skeleton walks into a bar, orders a shot and a mop.
How old was this person?
My age, he looked like he was in his 20s.
How? I just thought our generation was past that. Aside from using it to hit on women online,
No, our generation is very much about that.
very
So
weird.
the punchline was okay. So skeleton walks into a bar and orders a shot and a mop.
He orders a shot and a mop.
Try to figure that out real quick. Go for it.
Okay. The skeleton walks into a bar and orders a shot and a mop because the shot is gonna go through him and he's gonna have to clean it up.
Yeah.
Is is that a joke or just like I don't want to be I don't want to be the comedian who's out here picking apart jokes. Like I get it. Like I get it. I just there's a part of my brain that goes like, is that a joke or did you just create a world where a skeleton? Yeah, that's what would happen if a skeleton tried to drink. Is
Yeah.
and so also this is where like now I am kicking into my stand up where I'm like, who orders a mop at a at a bar? You ever go to a bar and you're like, one mop, please?
So when it comes to that, it's like whatever you told it, whatever. I don't care. That's fine. I don't. It's not
Yeah,
that big of a deal.
right, right.
But he was like in his I need the attention mode. So he kept going and going. He kept like, no, I got another one. I got another. You guys just don't get it. You don't get it. And then he starts telling more. And then he told, those like bar jokes that are super long. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah. So he's like going and go, and I'm standing there and like, what? It would work at Thanksgiving dinner.
yeah, because everybody has to because they're your family.
Yeah, but like it's on the street right now. Like I wasn't even saying anything. KJ was fucking hitting it hard. So he's going, he's making jokes, he's being KJ, and then to switch from that to this, it made it look even worse.
Oh
Like
yeah,
if it was me, if KJ wasn't there and it was me, that he would have been okay because I have a slower, it's calmer, it's not as punchy,
yeah.
but it
Like
just made yeah.
people are bought in with you that like the punch or whatever comes later.
Yeah,
Like with KJ, I assume he's got his comedic timing down to like getting them out. With you, it's like again, we do have that in common. It's like it's kind of we talk a lot, but if you follow us, it's worth it at the end.
yeah,
So like for a guy like this, is like if it's not worth it at the end, that takes away all the value of it. And
yeah.
for like a guy like that, where it's not gonna be worth it at the end because you heard the skeleton joke, it's just like, whew, we just took a massive dive in energy. And like this whole thing is different. Like,
And
that's definitely where if I was an audience member, I'd be like, this seems like it's going to happen for a while. We should probably go now.
yeah, well, we almost lost the audience because of it.
Yeah.
And
Which
so,
is, again, and it's like you said, it's like, I know that's the weird line for like comedians and performers and all that stuff, is where people like, I understand you're a good person. You're
yeah,
just not good at performing, and it seems mean when I'm telling you like, okay, you gotta go.
yeah,
You're sucking out the energy. But it's like, it's for the benefit of everybody. If you're not, because that's the
including
problem. It's
him.
kind of, yeah, it's kind of that thing you were saying where there's a level of like the me energy of it, where it's
Yeah,
like, everybody pay attention to me. Let's make this about me now. And as a performer, you kind of know it's like, it's about you, but it's for the people. It's
yeah.
about you, but it's for the people. So it's me for them. Whereas,
KJ,
go ahead.
sorry, man. KJ made a really good analogy about it. He was like, you built a roller coaster, and they're riding your roller coaster.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas it seems like he built a roller coaster for himself, got on it, and when everybody look at me ride my roller coaster, isn't this so fun? Isn't it
Yeah,
so fun to watch me ride my roller coaster? It's like, no, we don't want to. That's like, you did that for you. You don't got to make us watch you.
yeah. And so he wasn't going to stop, and KJ we navigated that well and was able to kind of get him away. But I felt bad because like I had seen this guy for months now, and he's just very comfortable. So I think in his head it's like, well, I know Aaron, and like this is fine, this is fun. I'm a part of this now,
Right.
and there's no stage. It's like yeah, technically he can, minus the microphone. Technically he can do that. And so that happened, and then there's this crazy lady who I've seen good 3-4 times out there, who she's like,
Are the people, just for clarification, the people that you're defining as crazy, they're regular people in their day-to-day lives, but their social stuff is a little off, or is it like actual kind of homeless people?
it's a mix of all of it.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes, like that guy who's telling the jokes, and on a day-to-day, I've seen him for months. I've never seen him behave that way. So like, he's been cool. He comes by, we chit-chat a little bit, and then he heads out. And it's like, it's cool. He's a very nice person.
Yeah.
So I would say on a day-to-day, he's a normal, reasonable person. I don't know what was going on that day, but that day was just switched. It just changed.
That's
And then, yeah. And then with this crazy lady, she is just crazy all the time. And so you know, when girls have crazy eyes,
oh yeah.
she was that type, pee your car crazy, like light your shit on fire crazy. She's really out of her mind. And she has this whole thing. I've seen her multiple times. She has this whole thing about child trafficking. Like it's the hill that she does it. She wants to stop it.
Oh, okay, good.
She really loves child trafficking.
She's just really into child trafficking for some reason. Like, and we were like, we'll see where this goes.
Yeah. Child trafficking is her Black Lives Matter for me. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Right. So I'm out there talking about what I talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's in her head, because she's crazy, she's out of her mind. In her head, she's like, but why aren't you talking about the thing that matters to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, and she's I've talked to her multiple times calmly, and she's one of those people who cannot be reasoned with. She's out of her mind. And she like walks. So I'm standing one way. I have chairs set up, and she walks around. She walks behind me, and she stands next to me. She gets as close as possible to me. And she's like, am I making you uncomfortable? Am I making you uncomfortable? Do you not care about children? Don't you care about children? You only care about black people. Don't you care about children? And like,
don't you love being boiled down to like a single thing? Because that's as much as the capacity of the human brain. I can't like fight for these people and also believe other issues shouldn't be happening. She chose her one. That's the irony of her thing is, and I'm preaching at you like you don't know, but it's just saying it out loud. It's the thing of the irony. Recently, or at least this is one of my crazy thoughts, is one of my theories as a 27-year-old.
Yeah.
One of my theories is that people really rarely ever see the world outside of a perspective of their own. So
Yeah.
when they're saying things at you or things, I know it's like classic. It's like the projection idea where she's saying like, don't you care about the children? The irony is that she's doing that like your one issue is Black Lives Matter and her one issue is the child trafficking. But she can't see where her argument towards you not caring about children could also be used towards her to say you don't care about black people. And it's
Yeah.
like you're doing that because you decided your thing is the one thing. But again, nuance gets lost on a lot of people. It is hard to deal with all the gray area that is human beings and all the multiple ways we have caused suffering amongst each other. Child trafficking, racism, there's an underground market of just sex trafficking in general is a huge thing. Drugs are crazy still. There's a lot. There's a lot to deal with, and everybody picks their one issue and or like a few issues. It's a whole to do. But yeah, so she's in your personal space. She's ignoring what everybody's feeling. There's like no sympathy, empathy, or understanding just what it means to be a person who came out with the microphone. If you have your thing, she has a. That's what's interesting to me, and we talked about this when it comes to the whole other comedians doing or being mad at you thing.
Oh, that's the other thing I got to talk about, by the way. But yeah,
it's very interesting to me that people like that lady. She has as much freedom as you do. Like she can get a mic and a speaker, and she can go to wherever she wants to go to and say her thing about child like trafficking, and she could do that, but she doesn't want to do that. She wants to take your platform that you've already made and turn it into her platform. She doesn't want to like go through the effort of going to buy a speaker system, standing outside, doing no, she wants to harp on it for a little bit, get everybody on her side in the moment, which again, you could make hard arguments that much like the other guy, there's this air of attention. There's this air of like the energy that you're like, and I was going to say it about that guy too. It's very fascinating to see, as much as people make fun of comedians for being like, we need the attention. That's the only reason you're doing it is because you need the attention. And it's like, have you ever seen what a regular person does when you give them the power of a microphone? Like if you just let them do whatever they want to do, they'll talk about nothing and they don't care and they get angry, but they think it's because they started off from it's again, if they start getting that validation from it, then they're like, yeah, me. It's like at least we're self-aware enough to know like there's a level of me going on. At least most of us. I can't speak for all comedians, but there's a level of self-awareness in doing the art that is like, yeah, I understand I'm doing this a little for me. Obviously, I wouldn't put myself in front of people if I didn't want people looking at me. At the same time, I understand that energy between the give and take relationship of performer and audience, where it is about me, but if you're uncomfortable, I'm not going to keep harping on that subject. I'm not going to force you to deal with my stuff. Like, I give you the freedom to leave. I give you the freedom to be upset with me. Like, whatever it is, I'm not going to, like, do that. But everybody who doesn't have that understanding just jumps on it, harps on it, and does that. Sorry, go ahead. So Crazy Lady's crazy.
So she, I wasn't in the mood because I was up there with KJ. He was fucking hitting it hard and I could not keep up with it. I wasn't in a good mood. I was feeling down on myself as a comic at the time. And I was tired. I'd been out there for a good 5 hours. I was tired. I didn't have the energy to deal with her anymore. Right. Patient. And I fucked up because I antagonized her. She was about to leave and I said something on the mic that antagonized her more and she came back with it. I fucked up. And so KJ and I kind of made eye contact and we're like, we're going to ignore her. That's all you can only ignore her. So we're ignoring her. We're just talking and she's talking.
Yeah.
We keep ignoring her, but imagine you're trying to do stand-up and you just have to ignore somebody who is talking at full volume and about completely different shit. It was really frustrating.
Yeah.
So too many people, it's like they're just getting too comfortable with me.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah, it's the pros and cons of allowing that level of like you used to say back when you first started. It's like there's a down to earthness, a relatability that comes in. Oh, I'm at the same level as you. I'm just a guy who has a microphone. When you don't have the raised platform, it's
Yeah.
like people, and then like I described with like the difference between filming yourself with just your phone or filming yourself with a professional camera or filming yourself with a professional camera and lights. There are certain respect tiers that go up depending on how it looks or how people are interacting with it. Because she'll do that to you, but she wouldn't do that at a concert. She wouldn't
No.
do that at like different events where it's like, that's not what we're here for. She wouldn't go to the actual rallies. I would hope not. Then again, there are definitely crazies who have done way worse and been way more out to the side. But I assume just from how much she cares about her one problem that I don't think she's that far gone. I think she's far enough gone that she doesn't see the subtlety of like the messed up that she's doing to you, a person. But as far as the overarching, like what she's doing is probably lost. It's probably like fine. But it is the double-edged sword of you being on their level is that now they treat you like, yeah, anybody can use your mic, right? Right?
Yeah.
That's how you're treating us. So let me come and use your mic. And it's like, no, dude. Like
Yeah.
you gotta, and again, you're learning that, and that's kind of like you set those rules. One of the things that I've also been kind of going on, this is just day-to-day human interaction stuff, relationship stuff, is like you teach people how to treat you. Like if people are treating you a certain way, is because you've left open a door, you haven't set boundaries that allow them to think that they can get away with treating you that way. Because your street stand-up is so open and honest and interactive, and it is like, I'm a part of this, they're like, I'm equally as a part of this as Aaron, the guy on stage, when there should be, I'm kind of a part of this,
Yeah.
but Aaron's the guy on stage and KJ's the guy on stage.
Most people understand that. Most people get that, like, we can talk a little bit. We'll go back and forth. All right, now I'm going to shut up and let him be the thing he's being. Right. But it's too much. But, people not liking me. Oh.
Yeah, okay, so on to the next part you were saying.
So I got a message from Danny Frank. And don't worry, this ends well.
Okay. I'm like, that was the weird for me, because usually you don't mention names. And so I'm like, oh, you're calling somebody out? Like that.
I'm not calling him out at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
You still there?
Phone did the thing again. Sorry, go ahead.
You there? So he messaged me asking if we were cool. And I was like, yeah, of course. And there was some I guess there was some like miscommunication about, I guess at some point I came off standoffish or rude or condescending or whatever other things that I obviously come off as. And he wanted to make, yeah.
Not to interrupt, I'm just a little confused here. And maybe it's because I've been like over on this end, and besides you and maybe Jerome, I just haven't even seen that many comedians or like talk to them. Do you maintain, like, are you like still in communications with that? Why is everybody still talking to you? I mean, I know that's really rude. It's like, yeah, you could be friends. Everybody can just be friends. I would understand if you were talking to Will and George and like and Jonathan, like all the people who were like your main crew, right? I understand that. But then the comedians who are like, yeah, we're we're co-workers. That's essentially what it is. Yeah. And like our job is shut down. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
This was about something a long time ago that I was unaware of.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
So he brought that up and I was like, yeah, no, we're good. And we talked a little bit because he wants me to do his podcast. And so I did his podcast. We talked a little bit about it and I got to explain. So there's just a miscommunication, like a misunderstanding. So I got to explain to him my thought process, my perspective. I got to say that, like, you know, if I've hurt your feelings, if I've disrespected you in any way, I apologize. It wasn't my intention.
Was this on the podcast, or this was just person to person?
This was person to person first. Then
Got
he
it.
said, it's all good. You know, I'm being too sensitive to, like, we were immediately, it was like, oh, there was just some sort of miscommunication here. That was
Okay.
all it was.
Okay.
And we were talking and he was like, yeah, you know, there's a fair amount of people that not a fan of you. And,
That's so weird to me. Like, don't get
and
me wrong. I understand it, but I don't relate to it from the story. Now, to be fair, I've only heard your perspective on it, so I might like it again. And I don't want to like that's the thing. I don't want to know. Like it does me so little net positive to be like, why don't you like this person? Oh,
yeah,
drama, drama, drama. Oh, okay. Hey, this person, this is why they don't drama, drama, drama. I'm like, it's just high school was a long time ago and I didn't even interact with it back then. So like why would I try to find that out now? At the same time, it is again, I've interacted with you in this capacity. And I could understand why, given some of your tendencies,
yeah,
people would take it a certain way and would be a certain way and like maybe take offense to some things. But I don't understand it being like, and I really don't like that guy. Like, you know, because at the end of the day, most of my stuff with you is like, it's like you're a good guy. Like, you're a good dude. Like, I know you have the best intentions. I know you're not trying to hurt anybody. You're not like, I'll get them by doing this. And like,
yeah.
that is how I'll undercut them and nobody will respect them in the little niche that I've created. It's like
That's
I
how
don't
people
know
think I'm
why.
Dr. Evil.
Yeah, I'm like, why do people keep making? And yet I know, and that's why I say I understand, but I don't relate. I know why they're making you the villain because you have to be the villain in order for them to be the good guy. But at the same time, I don't relate to needing somebody to be the villain when you could just, I don't know, do your thing. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know.
Well, I talked with him about it, and again, didn't ask who it was, didn't ask how
Yeah,
many people.
yeah, yeah.
So who knows? Maybe I've inflated this even more in my brain. Maybe, but
It's like
talk to
one
him.
guy.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's one person though. It's multi. There's a lot apparently.
All right.
I'm hearing that there's people that don't like me in the OC. There's people that don't like me in LA. Like I didn't even know people knew who the fuck I was.
Mm.
But regardless, I talked to him about it. I was like, you know, what's going on there? And apparently, I made a comment on a podcast or something about how I want to turn the IE into a monopoly. I want to monopolize it with the buddy system.
Makes
And
sense.
yeah, in my head, that makes it's like, guys, this is a business, and I need to figure out how to. I want to, like, nobody's out here. It's not like I'm going to LA and I'm like, let's take over Los Angeles. It's like there's nothing out here.
And also, even if you did go to Los Angeles with that mentality, is that bad?
Right. Well, apparently that statement about me wanting to make a monopoly was interpreted as I don't want anyone else to succeed but me and my friends. And that I'm trying to actively make other people not succeed so that I can't. I'm pushing someone else under the water so I can push myself above the water.
Yes. Okay.
Is how it's been interpreted, and I don't see it that. I mean, on a personal level, you already know that that's not the case because when I made the buddy system, it was about community. Those
Right.
people look a dick. Oh, thank you, Carlos Patino. But you know that my mentality in making the buddy system was the opposite of putting anyone down. It was so that we all move up
Right.
and yada yada yada. We don't need to repeat
Yeah, we've
ourselves
been
here.
over it. Yeah.
Yeah, but so that was
Watch
an
the
issue.
other episodes.
Yes, that was an issue, and then people were upset. Apparently, people were upset that they would get on stage at a mic and I wouldn't watch their set, and I would like walk out, and they feel like that was disrespectful, or I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Zero.
Why? Okay, and again, we've said this time and time again. I just don't understand why. Where did they get this idea that you have power like that? Like they what does it matter if he watches you or not? Aaron is trying to get clout for himself. Like he just hit 1,000. He's working on his stuff. I don't
This is
understand.
before. This is before that. This is when the buddy system was running.
I know, and I'm saying that's you before 1,000 You're in a world where you're not even looking at those numbers yet. You're not even in street stand up yet. You're in the
Yeah.
world where we're still operating under normal human conditions. You run the mic, and I don't understand. Okay, here's why it's getting me.
You sound like me now.
Because I don't understand why you're using him as an excuse, or like why does that hurt you? I don't understand why that hurts. Listen, you're a buddy of mine. I would say we're friends at this point. We run this podcast. We've been in it 12 episodes. We made an EP. You're a buddy. You're a friend. I've come to your thing. I'm sure you would come to mine. All good. I don't care about you that much. Like I don't sit on stage and go, Aaron didn't watch me. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't Aaron watch me? I thought you were my friend. I thought, or like, he's running the mic. He's obligated to watch every set. It's like, first of all, Aaron's a comedian. Like, right off the bat, like, that's not who I'm performing for. I am performing for you because you're at the mic and you're a person and I still respect your feedback, but you're not the target demo. The target demo is not comedians. Otherwise, I just make a bunch of jokes about how hard it is to be a comedian. Neither here nor that's one thing. You're a comedian. Two, you run the open mic. Like it's not like, and then Aaron wouldn't put me on his comedy special tour, or like he wouldn't put me on at the theater stage show where we're getting paid thousands of dollars, and I could have been paid thousands of dollars, and he screwed me out of it because he didn't watch my set. You're not a booker. You are a booker, but you're not like a LA booker. You're not like I'll put you on. There's no putting on. Like, and even if there was a level of putting on, it shouldn't matter, because at a certain point you should be so good that you're not deniable. Like, there's a point where if they leave the room, the thing they should hear after they come back having missed your set is, oh, you missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have seen his thing. You haven't seen his thing? Oh, you gotta watch this dude. Oh, he's funny. The idea that it's disrespectful for you to leave the room, I think spits in the face of like the artistry. That's what it is. I think a part of it is this is why I'm worked up. I'm dissecting myself because I have a problem with people telling me that I don't have control, that I don't have choice, that I can't do things that I want to do. I'm very petty in that way. I'm so to the point where if somebody was like, you're not allowed to do this, I'm very quick to go, oh, for what reason? Like, why? Like, then I might do it just to spite you. Like, that's where my brain goes. So when you say that, I hear it as, this is how I believe that all comics should operate. This is how I think we should be. What I'm doing with Aaron is how other comics should feel about Aaron. And you're asking me as another comic to look at Aaron and be like, he has to watch my stuff. It feels like it spits in the face of the idea that you're supposed to be good. You don't have to be good. Just make sure the person who runs the mic sees you, which I guess is a way to go about it. But at the same time, to say that's the only way, or like that's how it should be, and like and it's so like it's such a not to be mean. I'm trying to find a nice way to say it, but like the best words I could use for it is like, that's a loser mentality. It's a loser mentality to say, I need somebody to watch me do the thing. Otherwise, the thing isn't good, or they're rude, or like if I was them, I would stay and watch every comedian because they deserve to have an audience of some sort. And it's like, no, you earn that. You earn the audience. You be good. And yes, I understand what you're saying, because we have had the talks of like, when I was on the Buddy Cast, and I said the thing of like they have to learn to be an audience in order to get an audience. There is a certain level of that. Yes, in order for you to grow and change, people do have to watch each other. If we're all comics who come do our set and then leave, then eventually the people on the back end won't get to get any experience or learn or any of that stuff. But honestly, even that, again, has an asterisk because, like, again, if you look at the gray area of that, there's still some arguments that, again, if you're good, if the people before you are good, then more people are coming, right? This is just me talking airy-fairy now. If the open mic exists and the people before you are consistently funny and they keep going up and they keep being funny, why would the audience leave as they're having a good time? The audience should be staying because the people before you are good. And if the audience leaves before the people who are there are good, again, an open mic's an open mic. Just get there earlier. Just be that person who does make it. Like, I don't agree with making other people the problem. I'm very much like, it's me. Whatever it is, I even disagree. This is just hot take from me, and then I'll stop my rant.
Okay.
Hot take from me, I go as far, and this is my controversial comic opinion, I go so far as there is no bad audience. Like, this is, as much as there obviously is, that clearly there are rooms that are worse than other rooms. Clearly you're not playing towards your demographic sometimes, and there's a time and a place. But for me personally, the way I take it is, I need to be better. I need to be so good that a room of people who would hate my material and hate me will like me in some regard. That's just how I view it. And so that's how far I go. I don't believe in bad audience or bad room. I believe you need to rise to the occasion regardless of how bad. Like, you need to come up. Now, to be fair, that's a very extreme thing, and it has a lot of gray areas within it, but that's just my mentality about it. So for you to put that on Aaron or any venue or anything and, like, not look at your comedic ability and go, like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that the thing didn't go because nobody was there. All the other worse comics than me, because I've decided that, worse comics than me went up and made the room empty, and then I could only perform for the bar staff. And the bar staff aren't people. I don't respect them or anybody else. Just the audience that's randomly there. I'm done. Okay. Go ahead.
My feelings on it are, one, what I was probably leaving to do my job. I was probably leaving to bring in the audience and embark, or I was probably leaving to talk to another comic who needed something, or I was talking to the owner, I was talking to the bartenders, I was cleaning stuff, I was trying to relax because I work all day and then I run show. Like, I think I don't know who it is. I don't know who really doesn't like me, so I don't know what the context is, but that's what I assume was probably going on when I was doing stuff. I think the other thing is because I booked shows in the IE, so that I think they wanted me to see them so that I would see, oh, they're funny, and then I'll book them. But I don't think people understood that all you had to do was just ask me.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy to get on one of the buddy systems. Just fucking ask. I had people giving me shit because I was putting comics that they didn't think were good because they just asked me and they worked hard. It was that simple.
Yeah.
There was more. Yeah.
Oh, there's more? Okay. Then
yeah.
I was about to kick into another one, so go ahead with the more.
There was more. Yeah. And
we have 15, by the way.
15. Okay. But I would say that regardless of all of it, it's fine, especially because I have no intention to run the buddy system in the same way whenever we go back to new normal. I'm not gonna, it's fine. Like, it's in the past. If you don't like me still, that's fine. You don't like me still. But I'm not.
I guess that does become a question that I'll follow up later. But my just back burner, I'll again finish your thought, but my back burner is how are you going to run it post?
Okay.
When things go back to normal. I think you might have touched on it, but like, I don't understand the difference because it seems like you were always kind of picking people based on like if they seemed like they were about it or they had a skill. Neither here nor there. Finish the rest of the thought that you were going to say, and then we'll tail end on that.
Okay. Ultimately, though, I just have the utmost respect and appreciation for Danny Frank for just fucking talking to me. Like, I mean, I was talking about people having issue with me, and I was unaware. I was completely unaware that I even had anything needed to be discussed with Danny Frank. I really did not know that.
Right.
And had he not said something to me, I would have been living in this world of thinking like, me and Danny are good. I wouldn't even have thought of it.
Right.
So him saying something to me nicely, calmly, like I don't want people to be like, hey, fucker, hey, listen, you, like, I don't want all that. But
he wants the truth, I'll give him the truth.
Want the smoke? But no, but he just talked to me, and I got to explain myself, and I got to hear his perspective, and it's fine now. Like,
yeah.
And we talked about it on his podcast or whatever. I'll send it to you when he posts it. But I just have an appreciation that he talked to me, and that the invitation is open. If for whatever reason you have an issue with me, just nicely, calmly message me, and we can figure it. Chances are I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry. That's probably what's gonna happen. So like, yeah, the end.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I would make that hard argument again. I know I'm supposed to be the light airy, but to
Yeah.
me, and I guess this is a light airy. You could look at it a certain way, where it's like your that desire that you have, and yes, that is a truth, and yes, obviously that's the case. But I don't think anybody who's genuinely harboring those feelings towards you, I don't think they want to solve it. I don't think it's not one of those issues. It's not like, let's talk it out. Like, I have a problem with Aaron. So what would help me get over my problem with Aaron is to discuss it with him and hopefully change his mind, or at least understand where he's coming from, so then we can be on the same page. And I may not like him after that, but at least I know what's going on. And I don't have this crazy concoction world that I've created in my head. But that's not what it's for. Because I think, like, in order to even get there in the first place, like, again, it's like, in order to get there in the first place, I feel like you gotta kind of need it. Like, you kind of need Aaron to be a bad guy. And so you're not gonna come out of your way, because if Aaron's as bad as you think that he is, right? If he's this mastermind manipulator, he's this dude like taking all the spots, if that's who he is, then it would stand to reason that why would you reach out to that guy? Because you know you're going to be talking to a brick wall. Like,
Right.
in what world would you reach out to the guy who's that manipulative and go like, hey, I just feel like you're being kind of like controlling of the entire thing? And he would be like, you know what? You're right. That's fair. I'm going to not do that now. Like, if you believe he's that evil, he's like, you. I'm not doing that. You're stupid. You know what? No more mics for you. No more show. Good luck with your career. Because, you know, Aaron has the ability to shut down your career. I didn't know that. I didn't know Aaron Chase held the keys to everyone's success. I thought Aaron Chase was just another comedian who started a thing because he cared to start the thing. But apparently, he's the Lord of comedy and is the door and gateway to us all. That's why he's had all the stand-up specials, and he's already met Dave Chappelle. Like, all of the stuff that is very blatantly right there. And I do get it, because I do get it. Because at the same time that I say that, I kind of understand. I have to go back to the mentality of, like, when I first started. And when you first start, you understand the barrier of entry is nothing. Like, all it takes is to sign up, and, like, you're worried about working up the courage. But as far as you know, everybody else who signed up, like the people who are joking around, the guys who signed up really quickly, put themselves at the top, the guy who's running the mic, as far as you know, those are working comedians. Those are real comedians. Those are professionals. Because you don't know. You're new to the world. And if you think that way, and you think that they're the professionals and the up there, and like they're the in crowd, and you're trying to break in, then I could see it where you're like, well, you have control over it. You have the power. They don't see that you're just a regular guy who like started it. They don't think you're the same. They think like you did something more, which you did, but it's not like so astronomically more. It's just like you did something more, so that's why you're the guy. Everybody comes to you. Everybody's talking to you. Everybody asks you about shows. You're running stuff. Like, you're running stuff. So you have power that I don't have. So that's why I feel like when you don't come out of your way to help those of us who don't have power, it's kind of the rich man argument, right? It's like, why doesn't Jeff Bezos give us all $1 million? It's like, because he worked hard to get what he did, and you may not get you may not be Jeff Bezos. Like, to be fair, there is a huge gap in disparity, but you can make money. Like, we live in a country that's ridiculous on money. You can make money. It's not gonna be easy, but it wasn't easy for him either. But nobody wants to look at how hard he worked, or Bill Gates worked, or Steve Jobs. Everybody just likes the end product. And so it's very fascinating. I get it. It's a power dynamic where, again, you have the mic, much like the audience doesn't know how good you are until you start talking with the microphone in your hand. It's like that dichotomy. It's like there's a certain level of respect. I mean, again, you put on a show where, like, you don't have the lights dimmed, and you don't have, like, people understanding that a comedy show's about to start, and there's no expectation set, versus when you turn out the lights, when you're like, hey, we're about to do something here, and, like, it's gonna be like this, set up expectations. People have a level of respect. Again, it's that same, then full circle, just like with street stand-up and the, like, being on their level, to the raised platform, to the lights, to the mic. Each one of those is a power step up dynamic, and it does create this, I would almost call it a resentment. I would almost say that there's a weird resentment. I'm choosing to watch this over a stripper's live feed. I love you guys. Okay, that's something I also want to talk. I'm glad you said something, because there's this thing that's been happening. For those of you that don't know, and I've stuck it out this far in the podcast, we got 7 minutes, so I'm gonna try to squeeze this in here. Apparently,
before you keep going, do you want to book it? So we'll start over. I'll end with what I plan on doing in the future.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and shut that, and then I'll tag this on at the end. Remind me, stripper live stream.
Stripper live stream. What I plan on doing in the future is focus on me. Everything I was doing.
But how do you do that within the buddy system?
So I'm not hosting.
You're still making shows, yeah.
Yeah, we'll still run open mics and we'll still have shows. We'll do all of that, but I'm not hosting every goddamn night. Okay. And if someone else doesn't want to host, well, I guess y'all motherfuckers don't have an open mic to go to, because I'm not doing that. Got it. And and for years I try to train people on how to host, because it is a thing, it's a skill. And if nobody's gonna get trained to do it, and if you're just gonna make me do it over and over again, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. Is the first thing. The second thing is, I'm not trying to expand the buddy system. I'm trying to expand me through the buddy system. We already have established an organization thing. I know how to work with George well. I know how to work with Will well. So we can still run shows, set up shows, book ourselves. We'll book people that are good, that hit us up. And it's going to be as simple as that. Basically, my mentality of it is going to change. I'm not going to try to expand in any way. I'm not trying to make a monopoly, guys, so calm down. I don't give a fuck about the IE. I just want to get out of here, to be perfectly honest. Like, no more monopoly. So have fun, guys. Have fun with the desert. I'm just going to focus on me. I'm going to do what people seem to have thought I was doing the first time, which I wasn't. Just going to focus on me.
Okay. I guess that is different. Okay. All right. That makes sense. All right. We got 5 minutes. We'll just cut here, and then I'll start back up. I'll finish my stripper live stream thing, and then we'll call it an episode. So apparently, before the COVID-19, as everyone knows, that gentlemen have existed through time and time again, where married men from across the world would go watch half-naked to fully naked women jiggle around and dance around a pole. Apparently, to answer that want or void in the universe, they started doing live streams. Like, because you can't go to a strip club because you're not allowed to be within 6 feet of each other or like touch or do anything. So they definitely can't give you a lap dance. So like they're surprised. Like, there's one that's like, my friend told me specifically, they're like, you kind of have to be right place, right time, and find out when they pop up, and like, just like, oh, they're streaming, and then you go watch it, and it's strippers dancing. And I'm like, I was already of the generation of like, I don't know why we still do that. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, the modern average girl is so free with everything that they are, that I don't understand what you even what do you get out of that you wouldn't equally get out of Pornhub or
Are you
X?
asking? Are you asking me because I worked at a strip club? Like, do you want an honest answer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have an honest answer, I'd love to. Yes, actually. I didn't think about that. Also, we have still not gotten into the strip club story, and it bothers me. I'm making a statement on this episode. Next episode, we are hearing the stripper stories.
Okay. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
I worked at a strip club for I think it was about a year, maybe even a year and a half. And I was a day guy. I was a doorman slash bouncer slash janitor. I was just did whatever they needed me to do.
Right. How much did that pay?
Minimum wage.
Really?
Minimum wage plus tips from the dancers if they like you.
The dan- so the dancers would get tips, and then sometimes they would tip you.
If they like you.
Oh, that's such an interesting dynamic. Okay.
It's dude, I can't wait to talk about the strip club stuff because it's weird.
Yeah. But you were saying answers.
So from my experience of it, part of it is connection. Like there's definitely dudes who are there just to see titties or whatever. But I had a good chunk of customers who they were regulars. They would come in every day, and I would talk with them, and they would be like, I just need to get away from my wife. I hate. Hey, look who's fighting a fly this time. All right.
Hey, listen, I don't know if it's a fly. I think it's a gnat. I think I got a gnat, but it's definitely annoying.
They just need companionship. A lot of it's a lot of companionship without any sort of need for emotional connection. So it's not that like, oh, I get to see naked girls. Okay. It's that I get to see naked girls and they're giving me personal love and attention that I desperately need. Like guys would go for specific women and they would get specific dances. They would they had this routine and they built over years. There was a guy who had known one of the girls for a good 20 years. And it was just, they have a little relationship and a little understanding.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So when the girls go, now I've never watched a live stream of it. So there's probably a disconnect there, but like going on Pornhub or trying to hit on a girl out in the world, especially if you're socially awkward, is not going to work, but they're paid, they're entertainers. They're paid to make you feel like they give a shit about you.
Right. It's the prostitute thing where it's like, not only is it the affection, it's also, I've heard an analogy where it's like, you're not an analogy, just an example, explanation of it, where you're not paying them for the sex, you're paying them for the ability to walk away with no connection, with no like hard feelings or any of that weird other stuff that comes with dating people. And
some of these guys like didn't know how to talk to normal women. They just didn't know how to do it. They don't have that skill.
How do they talk to the strippers?
They talk to the strippers how they think they're supposed to hit on women, and the strippers are paid to behave as though that's being smooth. So it's a cyclical. So these guys don't know how to talk to women. They come to the strip club. They talk like they think they're being sexy. The women are very good, very talented in making you feel like they genuinely give a shit. So then those guys think, oh, okay, I can go out to the world and do this. Then the average girl's like, fuck off. And then they come back and they do the thing over and over again.
Right. It's like, why is this working with you, but not with her? I'm going to figure it out by just saying it more. That is fascinating. That is interesting. That's where I go back and forth. Like in general, hot take, I'm not a fan of the sex work thing. I'm not on that train. But then sometimes I go back and forth and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like people want to sell out strippers for being like, yeah, they freaking dance with their clothes off. But like when you're doing it at a high level, when you're doing it like, again, the girls who can do all the stuff on the poles, like they're actually physically fit and they can do all this crazy trick stuff that is both hot and also just impressive as a spectacle to watch, Then two is like you said, the kind of acting chops
Yeah.
that come with like convincing somebody that you're interested in them despite them being disgusting. Like that's so interesting to develop that as like yes.
I'm all for sex work. All for it. Because
Well,
illegal.
hold on. I feel like this goes hand in hand with the stripper episode. So
Okay.
I feel like I would like to get more into that in the episode where it feels like this is very much a tag on to the end of the
Okay.
last one, and I don't want it to get sold out. Or we could cut this one, start it like how much what's your day look like? What are you doing?
I just got to do Postmates, but I can do that whenever I want because I'm free. So
You're
yeah. Let's. You want to start a whole new episode?
Yeah, so we'll because we also are a little bit behind, so that would help me get back on that. Like, oh yeah, push it out earlier so I have time to edit because I got a new job and it's a whole to do, and I got like a little bit of time. Like today's my one day off this week, and I work like 10, 11 hour shifts. But yeah, but that check is nice. But yeah, so that's why I was asking you about the speaker thing because I'm going to be coming into some nice money. But so yeah, we'll cut this here, then we'll reopen. We'll talk more about the stripper thing, and then we'll see where that episode takes us.
Sounds good.
That was a lot of behind the scenes for you guys that are still here. Here's what we're about to cut. This is gonna be the end of this episode. So thank you for tuning in to this episode of A to Z. We talked about a lot of different stuff and ended up on strippers. And tune in next week to see what we said about that whole industry and prostitution and all that stuff, because I assume those are things that will come up. In the meantime, in the green time, I've been Zero Rimson. You can find me on Instagram at @0_KR anime. This has been Aaron Chase. You can find him at Aaron Chase 91 on Instagram. You can find this podcast as a whole on the Buddy System Comedy YouTube page. Just search Buddy System Comedy on YouTube, and you'll find all our episodes that we've done up to this point. Is there any others? Oh, you can watch the ACMM podcast also on the Buddy System Comedy or Podbean or whatever you want to look up Buddy System stuff. And I think that's all of our stuff. Oh, you can also check out my YouTube page. Just search Zero Rimson. I'm the only one with my name. That's the whole thing. Thanks for tuning in, and see you, those of you who are here, in like literally a couple of seconds because we're about to start right back up. But see you guys next week. Later.